In a low-lit bar, two English speakers, both out of place in Tokyo, share a small, quiet rescue. No big declarations. Just one held look that says, "I get you." Sometimes being adrift isn't a problem to fix, so it's the whole point. Lost in Translation puts you in Tokyo with Bob and Charlotte. Both outsiders, not just because of the language, but because no one seems to hear them. You're surrounded by crowds and neon, yet feel like you're floating outside it all. The film's pull comes from its quiet, interior focus. It's the pauses that do the talking. Without a sweeping, romantic payoff, every glance lands harder. Every offhand remark carries a kind of private significance. It's a small shelter.
Is checking for color density as it thins out towards the rim. That's going to tell you how old it is, among other things. It's usually more important with reds. Okay.
The road trip that accidentally becomes therapy. Sometimes the person you'd never pick for company ends up being exactly who you need. In Sideways, Miles, a divorced, wine-obsessed teacher weighed down by quiet grief, hits the road with Jack, his loud, impulsive, about-to-be-married friend, for a pre-wedding trip through California wine country. On the surface, it's tastings, roadside detours, and the kind of chaos Jack can't help but cause. Under the jokes and tastings, the miles give them a place to drop the act. Things slip out: regret, fear, frustration. In ways a straight heart-to-heart never could. And yeah, that famous, "I am not drinking any Merlot," that throwaway line changed wine aisles.
Very few wineries around here do a straight cab franc. It's from our vineyards up in Santa Maria, and it was a silver medal winner at Paso Robles last year.
Proof that tiny moments can have huge ripple effects. But what if instead of working through the mess, you could literally wipe the hurt from your head? Erasing the hurt, and why it still hurts. If erasing every trace of someone sounded like relief, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind shows why it's never that simple. Joel learns the hard way. The memories you erase are the pieces that helped build you. Teehee Story won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, and Kate Winslet's performance earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Critics singled out both her and Jim Carrey for how much they could say in the quietest beats. The film feels like trying to rearrange a jumbled photo album while it's falling apart. Faces and voices fading mid-scene. Montauk pulls them back like an orbit you can't explain. You can erase the files, but you can't erase the self those memories built. The story shows that forgetting a person doesn't mean forgetting what they made you. A messy family of failures that still feels human. Some families are so tangled up in their own mess, you almost feel at home watching them. In the Royal Tenenbaums, three former prodigies, Richie the tennis star, Margot the award-winning playwright, and Chaz the business mind, end up back under the same roof with Royal, their estranged dad who pretends to be terminally ill to wedge himself back into their lives. All those childhood wins make their present-day failures land harder. Richie hides out after a breakdown moment, Margot smokes away her days in locked bathrooms, and Chaz turns parenting into overprotective parenting. Royal's selfishness should be grating, but Anderson's tone turns it into something darkly lovable. Anderson dresses the mess in whimsy, so the sting comes with a smile. If family noise looks loud, next is a film where silence is the language. When silence says everything. What if the truest exchange between two friends had almost no words at all? In Old Joy, Kelly Reichardt keeps it spare. Just 73 minutes, paced with long takes and ambient sound that let the unspoken breathe. Mark's about to become a father. Kurt's still living like nothing's changed since their 20s. Their shared past rides with them, but it's more of a shadow than a passenger as they wind through the Oregon wilderness. The conversations drift into small talk, but the real stuff happens in the quiet. At the hot springs, Kurt gives Mark a slow back massage. A plain, "I'm here" without words. It lingers because those tiny, honest gestures say what dialogue never could. Not every connection survives on ease and quiet. Sometimes silence is enough, and sometimes it's not. Finding your people in the smallest places. Sometimes finding your people starts in the most unlikely corners. In The Station Agent, 2003, Peter Dinklage delivers a quietly magnetic performance as Finbar, a man who inherits an old train depot and hopes to live quietly, away from the world's noise. But Joe, the friendly food truck owner, and Olivia, a grieving artist, keep showing up. Coffee in hand, questions ready. Until the space he's holding onto starts to feel less like safety and more like isolation. Their stubborn kindness chips away at his walls in ways big speeches never could. It's Joe sitting down uninvited, Olivia sharing awkward bits about her art. It's not one big rescue. It's 1,000 small arrivals. You can probably name someone in your own life who kept showing up, even when you tried to push them away. Who really changes, Finn? And what if the real map is inside you? When reality gets too small for your dreams. Sometimes everyday life just isn't big enough for what's going on in your head. In The Science of Sleep, 2006, Michel Gondry's Stéphane lives in cardboard cameras, felt animals, and homemade inventions that feel so real you could touch them. Gondry's in-camera, handmade style gives everything a tactile edge, like his dreams might spill right off the screen. When Stefan meets his neighbour Stephanie, his fantasy solutions start crowding out real conversation. His imagination hijacks the moment, and the person in it. It's whimsical, but also a slow drift away from the actual person standing there.
Galloping here right in front of me.
And I can hear some water, but I cannot see it.
Oh, here it is, the river.
That's the tension. Creativity as both refuge and trap. Talent can be its own escape hatch if you let it. Sometimes the hardest step is not dreaming bigger. It's stepping out of the dream and staying there. And sometimes it takes walking side by side with someone to even try. Two people walking and talking remind us it's never too late to be honest. Sometimes the most revealing conversations happen with someone you thought you'd left in your past. In Before Sunset, 2004, Jessie and Céline meet again in Paris with just a single afternoon before Jessie's plane leaves. The real-time clock makes every pause count. 9 years have passed since Vienna. Jessie is married, Céline is with someone else, and both carry the weight of choices made and paths not taken. Their talk isn't youthful gush. It's side glances, half-finished thoughts, and moments like Céline admitting she cried after reading his book. Each small honesty adds to the tension of what's left unsaid. As they weave through Paris, bookshops, cafes, quiet streets, it's not about a tidy ending. The film lets honesty sit in the open air and complicate everything in the best way. Would you trade a lifetime for one honest afternoon? All these films prove that being lost isn't a mistake. It's part of the map. They remind us that it's often the small, quiet moments that change us more than the big set pieces. Drop the scene that made you feel less alone. And check out the video on the left or the description for more movies that feel like rescue.